Hello students, welcome once again. Hope all are fine. Now let's continue with our example number 3.
Let's have a quick revision of our last lecture. We have started the understanding and designing of counterfort retaining wall. This is the isometric view of our counterfort retaining wall. This is the probable deflection curve of stem slab and this is the deflection curve of our base slab. These are the counterfort which connects the slab and heel slab. This is the plan view of our stem slab. This is the elevational view of our base slab. We can interpret from the deflection curve the location of main tensile reinforcement in stem slab as well as in base slab. In last lecture, we have started designing of counterfort retaining wall using these data. We were supposed to retain a earth mass of height 6 meter. The unit weight of soil is 16.2 kN per meter cube. Angle of repose is 30 degree. Here, the soil bearing capacity of soil is given as 150 kN per meter square and the coefficient of friction between base and the soil is 0.6. We are supposed to design a retaining wall using a concrete grade of M20 and steel grade of Fe415. Let's have a quick overview of the various steps indulged in the design of a counterfort retaining wall. Step 1 was to determine the coefficient of the earth pressure. Step 2 is the preliminary dimensioning of the retaining wall, in which the depth of foundation was worked out to be as 1 meter. Therefore, overall height of wall will be equals to the soil retention height 6 meter plus 1 meter foundation depth comes out to be 7 meter. Width of base was assumed to be 4.5 meter as well as the toe width was assumed to be 1.25 meter. The thickness of base was assumed to be 400 mm. We have assumed the spacing of counterfort for an interval of 3 meter center to center. After that, we have worked out the stem thickness at base as well as top, which comes out to be 250 mm about base, which gets reduced to 160 mm at top. This is the overall dimension of our retaining wall. This is the earth retention height is 6 meter, foundation depth is 1 meter, thickness of base slab is 0.4 meter, width of base slab as 4.5 meter, toe width as 1.25 meter, heel slab width as 3 meter, thickness of stem at base as 0.25 meter and thickness of stem at top as 0.16 meter. After that, we have gone for a stability check, in which first we have determined the sliding force and overturning force. The sliding force was somewhere about 132 kilonewton and overturning moment was somewhere about 308 kilonewton meter. After that, we have calculated the vertical forces acting in our counterfort retaining wall. The total downward load was calculated as 399.60 kilonewton and total restoring or resisting moment was calculated as 1110.75 kilonewton. After that, we have determined the eccentricity E, which comes out to be 0.24 meters. Eccentricity E is determined from the base slab center. This is the base slab center, that is B by 2, that is 2.25 meters, and X, that is the distance of our vertical force from point A, comes out to be 2.01 meters, which we have calculated here.
Deducting the base center from X, we get the eccentricity from the center of base as 0.24 meter. After that, we have gone for an check number 1, which is soil bearing pressure check. By using the formula sigma W upon B 1 plus 6E by B, we have calculated P max as 117.22 kN per meter, which is smaller than our soil bearing capacity, that is equals to 150 kN per meter square. While P mean comes out to be 60.34 kN per meter square, which is greater than 0, hence no tension condition is observed under base slab. This soil pressure, that is P max and P min, are shown in our soil pressure diagram. That is P max at point A, that is at toe end, and P min is at heel end, that is at B. This force is acting upward. After that, we have gone for a check number 2, that is a factor of safety against overturning. It was observed that our retaining wall was safe against overturning. The factor of safety comes out to be 3.6, which is much greater than 1.55. And last check which we have performed for a stability check was to find the factor of safety against sliding. This factor of safety against sliding comes out to be 1.81, which is again greater than 1.55. Hence we can say that our retaining wall is safe against sliding. In today's lecture, we will design the stem slab. As discussed earlier, the stem slab is designed as a continuous slab spanning between the counterfort. We can say that this stem slab acts as a continuous slab which is spanning between the counterfort. Pressure about stem base, that is pressure at CD, will be equals to Ka gamma H, where H is the stem slab height. Here stem slab height is 6 meter plus 0.6, which comes out to be 6.6 meter. Therefore, pressure at CD point, at this point, will be Ka gamma H. Ka is 1 by 3, gamma is 16.2, and H is 6.6. Therefore, the pressure at stem base comes out to be 35.64 kN per meter square. This 35.64 kN will act as an UDL force on stem slab. This acts at the base of the stem. Here we are having a UDL force between two counterfort. Therefore, at support, the bending moment at support will be equals to this 35 point is acting like this. This is our counterfort force. This is an UDL of 35.64 kilonewton per meter square, and the distance between counterfort to counterfort is 3.0 meter. This is the distance between center to center of counterfort. Therefore, this can be idealized as, we can idealize this loading diagram as shown here. Here I have idealized the support condition as the fixed support, since we are having a continuity of our stem slab about counterfort. Here we can say that our bending moment diagram will be somewhat like this. This is a fixed end bending moment diagram, where the intensity of bending moment at support will be WL square by 12, and intensity of support at mid span will be WL square by 24. Therefore, at support, the ultimate bending moment will be equals to 1.5. This is the factor of safety into WL square by 12. It's a formula of bending moment at support. Therefore, 1.5 into the 35.64 is the pressure intensity of soil at stem base into 3. This is the center to center distance between the counterfort. This comes out to be 40.10 kilonewton meter. At mid span, that is at this point, the formula will be WL square by 24 into 1.5, that's a factor of safety, gives you the ultimate bending moment at mid span. Therefore, substituting the value of WL, we will get the maximum bending moment, that is the ultimate bending moment at mid span will be 20.08 kilonewton. Now, let's draw the plan view of our stem slab. This is the counterfort. This is the counterfort. And so on. Here our counterfort is also continued. This is a plan view. We are having a center to center distance between the counterfort as 3 meter. Therefore, the clear distance between the counterfort will be center to center distance minus half the thickness of counterfort minus half the thickness of counterfort. Let us assume the thickness of counterfort is 0.3 meter. This will be 0.3 meter. Therefore, clear distance between the counterfort will be equals to 3 minus 0.3 divided by 2 times, half from this counterfort, half from right counterfort. This comes out to be 2.70 meter. This is the clear distance between the counterfort. To determine the ultimate shear capacity, formula will be WL by 2 into 1.5. This is the factor of safety. Therefore, W is 35.64 kN per meter square. This is the pressure intensity acting on the stem base into soil is acting in this portion only. In other way, we are supposed to exclude the concrete volume of this counterfort. Therefore, now our length will be 2.7 meter. This is what I have written in this curly bracket. L is the clear span between the counterfort. This is this. We are assuming the width of counterfort is 300 mm. Therefore, clear distance L will be equals to 3000 minus 300 divided by 2 into 2. That comes out to be 2700 mm or 2.7 meter. That's what I have written here. Therefore, the ultimate shear force will be 72.17 kilonewton. Here it is to be noted that we are considering the clear span only. Now, effective depth, this we have calculated while preliminary designing of our stem slab. Let's see that. This is what we have done in our last lecture. Effective depth of stem base will be equals to overall depth minus clear cover minus main reinforcement diameter divided by 2. Here we have assumed 10 mm as our main reinforcement diameter. Therefore, D will be equals to 250 minus clear cover, that is 40, minus half the diameter, that is 10 by 2, comes out to be 205 mm. This I have summarized here also. That is 250 minus 40 minus 10 by 2, that comes out to be 205 mm. Therefore, at support, we are having a bending moment of 40.10 kilonewton meter. If we convert this kilonewton meter into Newton mm, we are supposed to multiply it by 10 raised to 6 divided by 1000. This is the length of retaining wall which we are designing into 205. That's an effective depth what we have calculated here. this comes out to be 0.952. Referring to table number 2, page number 48 of SP16. This is table number 2, page number 48 of SP16. 0.952 comes in between 0.95 and 1. For 0.95 we are having value 0.28, and for 1 we are having a value of 0.295 for FY415. Now let's interpolate using our calculator. First go for a regression mode, that is 2. Go for a linear interpolation, that is 1. For 0.95, that is 0.95, we are having a value of 0.28. Therefore press 0.95, 0.28 memory plus. Then for 1, we are having value 0.295 memory plus. Now we are supposed to determine 0.952 shift to forward to equals to comes out to be 0.2806 that I have written here. That's 0.2806, that is the percentage of reinforcement 0.2806 of effective cross sectional area, that is B into small d, effective depth d. Therefore AST comes out to be somewhere about 575.23 mm square, that is equals to 5.75 centimeter square. Therefore provide 12 torr. How we will get? We will get from table number 96, page number 230. Our required targeted area. Our targeted area is 5.75 centimeter square. For 12 mm reinforcement, little higher than 5.75 centimeter square will be somewhere about 19 centimeter. This is 12 mm reinforcement. For a spacing of 19 centimeter, you will get an area of 5.95 centimeter square. If we move to 20 centimeter, then the 12 mm dia reinforcement will have an area of 5.65 centimeter square per meter width, which is a little bit smaller than what we require, that is 5.75 centimeter square. Therefore we will adapt 12 mm dia about 19 centimeter or 190 mm center to center. Provided area will be 5.95 centimeter square at support near counterfort in horizontal direction. This reinforcement is to be placed at support since we are using the bending moment of support. This is the maximum bending moment, that is the ultimate bending moment at support, that is 40.10. In same line, you are supposed to find the steel requirement at mid span. The mid span moment is 20.05 kilonewton meter. Here I have converted it to Newton mm divided by 1000. 1000 is the length of retaining wall into 205. This is the effective depth square. MU upon BD square value comes out to be 0.477. Referring table number 2, page number 48 of SP16, 0.477, that is 0.477 lies between 0.45 and 0.5. Again using calculator for 0.55 corresponding value for FY415 is 0.128 memory plus. For 0.5 corresponding value for FY415 is 0.143 memory plus. Therefore value for 0.477 will be saved to forward to equal to will be equals to 0.136 percentage. This is the percentage of steel corresponding to effective cross sectional area. Therefore AST will be equals to 278.8 mm square. Again, referring to table number 96, page number 230, you can see that for 8 mm dia reinforcement and for spacing of 17 centimeter or 170 mm, you can say that the area of steel provided will be equals to 2.96 centimeter square or 296 mm square, which is a little bit greater than our required area, that is 278.8 mm square. Therefore, we can adopt 8 torr about 170 mm center to center. This steel is provided in an horizontal direction in mid-span towards the toe side. That is at this side. This is the plan view of our stem slab. The first reinforcement, that is this reinforcement, that is 12 torr about 190 mm center to center, is to be provided at support towards the backfill. It is here. And another steel, that is 8 torr about 170 mm center to center, is to be provided at mid span but away from backfill. This is the backfill side. This is the backfill side. Mid-span reinforcement is away from, this is 8 torr about 170 mm center to center, and this is 12 torr about, spacing is 190 mm, is 190 mm center to center. We will see this detailing later on. This is just for your reference and for easy understanding. Just keep in mind that the tensile reinforcement towards backfill will be at support and tensile reinforcement away from backfill will be in the mid span, that is the span between two counterfort. Now let's calculate the distribution steel in stem slab. Since we are having a varying thickness, we are having a thickness of about 0.25 meter at stem base and 0.16 meter at stem top. We will calculate the average thickness of stem slab, that is 250 plus 160 divided by 2 comes out to be 205 mm. This is the average thickness of our stem slab. Now we are supposed to provide 0.12% of our gross cross-sectional area. Here D is capital D. Here we are supposed to calculate percentage steel based on gross cross-sectional area and not on the basis of effective cross-sectional area. Therefore AST will be equals to this 0.12 500 into 1000 into 205. This is the average depth of our stem slab, that comes out to be 246 mm square. Again, referring table number 96, page number 230, we can see that for an 8 mm dia reinforcement and for a spacing of 20 mm, the area of steel provided will be equals to 2.51 centimeter square or 251 mm square per meter width. Therefore, here we have provided 8 torr about 200 mm center to center. This steel will be in a vertical direction to support our main tensile reinforcement. This will be towards heel side near support and towards toe side near mid span. That means here our distribution steel at support will be here, that is what I have written, towards heel side near support, this is heel side near support, and towards toe side at mid span. This is our distribution steel. We will see this in depth in our lecture later on. Still, we are not having any reinforcement here. As well as here. Sorry. Therefore, this black color reinforcement, here also this black color reinforcement are temperature or shrinkage reinforcement. Here we are supposed to provide 0.06% of gross cross-sectional area as temperature reinforcement or a shrinkage reinforcement. This reinforcement is to be provided in a vertical and horizontal direction. 0.06% vertical and 0.06% horizontal. Therefore, we will provide 8 torr about 350 mm center to center. Therefore, the area of steel works out to be half of this, that is 246 mm square for 0.12%, therefore for 0.06% will be equals to 123 mm square. Again, referring table number 96 of page number 230, we can see that we can provide an 8 torr about 350 mm center to center as temperature and shrinkage steel other than the distribution and the main reinforcement. This black color reinforcement is other than this red color and this blue color reinforcement. That is, red color reinforcement are the main tensile reinforcement and blue color reinforcement are the distribution reinforcement. That's what I have written here. Therefore, also provide 8 torr about 350 mm center to center. 0.06% of overall gross cross-sectional area in both vertical and horizontal direction as temperature and shrinkage steel other than the distribution and main tensile reinforcement in horizontal and vertical direction. Clear? This black color steel, this line and this dot are temperature and shrinkage reinforcement. We will see this in our lecture later on. Now we are supposed to check our cross section for shear capacity. Here, as the reinforcement are not confined by a compression reaction at support, here our support is a counterfold support. Counterfold will be in tension. The statement says that as we are not having a compressive reaction at support, since our counterfold is in tension, shear at the face of the support shall be used for the design. Therefore, our shear line will be just at the support. This is our shear line. This is our shear line. The shear line is just as the support. Since our counterfold is in tension, this is our support or support. We can say that our counterfold or support is in tension. Since our counterfold is in tension, shear line will be at the face of the counterfold. This VU is 72.17 kN. This was calculated previously. Let's see that. Its VU will be equals to 72.17 kN. This is based on clear span. Therefore, tau V, that's a shear stress at the face of the support or counterfold, will be equals to VU upon BD. VU is 72.17 kN into 10 raised to 3. I have converted this kilonewton into Newton divided by 1000 into 205. This is our effective depth. This is not an average depth. This is our effective depth. This comes out to be 0.352 Newton per mm square. AST provided at support, we have provided near about 595 mm square. Let's see that. AST provided previously, that's a 12 torr about 190 mm square center to center, that is this steel. this red color steel at support. Its 12 torr about 190 mm center to center. AST provided will be equals to 5.95 cm square. AST provided support will be 595 mm square. Therefore, percentage steel 100 AS upon BD will be equals to 0.290. Referring to table number 19, page number 73 of IS 456. Here this is the page number 73 of table number 19 of IS 456. We can see that point 29, this is point 29, lies between point 25 and point 5. For point 25, corresponding value for M20, the designed shear strength of concrete, that is tau C, is 0.36, and point 5 corresponding tau C value is 0. Now let's calculate this using calculator. First we will go for a regression mode. Linear interpolation 1. We will enter 0.25, comma, corresponding value for M20 is 0.36, memory plus 0.5, comma, corresponding value is 0.48, memory plus, for 0.29, this is 0.29, for 0.29 corresponding value will be 0.3792 Newton per mm square. This is the shear capacity of our concrete for this much percentage of steel. This is our capacity, while this is our demand, that is 0.35 is our demand, 0.37 is our concrete capacity. Since demand is less than our capacity, we can say that section is safe in shear at support. Now let's calculate the shear at the point of contraflexion where bending moment changes its sign. We can assume that point of contraflexion will lie at a distance of 0.15 of L, where L is the clear spacing between the counterfold. Therefore, shear force Vu at a distance of 0.15 L will be equals to, that is the support reaction 72.17 minus 1.5 is the factor of safety into 35.64 kilonewton per meter square is the loading intensity into the distance 0.15 of 2.7. This 2.7 is the clear distance between the counterfold. The value comes out to be somewhere about 50.55 kilonewton. Here I have figured out this equation. We can say that tau V, this is the actual shear which concrete will experience, will be equals to Vu upon Bd, that is 50.55 into 10 raised to 3 divided by B is 1000 mm into D, that is 205. That's an effective depth of our section at stem base. This shear, this will be our demand. This demanding shear will be equals to 0.247 Newton per mm square. AST provided midspan is 296 mm square. This we have provided earlier. Here is the data. Here we have provided a steel of value 2.96 centimeter square or 296 mm square for midspan. That is the steel provided at this point. It's 8 torr about 170 mm center to center. It's 8 torr about 170 mm center to center. Area provided using this spacing will be equals to 296 mm square. 296 mm square is 296 mm square. Therefore, AST percentage steel will be equals to 0.144. Therefore, corresponding tau c value from table number 19, page number 73 will be equals to 0.28. I hope now you will be able to interpolate using calculator. This is our concrete capacity in shear with this much percentage of reinforcement. Since our shear capacity, that is 0.28, is greater than our demand, that is 0.24, we can say that section is safe in shear at the point of contraflexure. Now let's check for the development length at the point of contraflexure. Here the shear force at point of contraflexure is 50.55. This we have calculated in our previous portion. This is the 50.55 what we have calculated here. This we are using in the calculation for the development length check at point of contraflexure. Mid-span moment mu, that is 20.05. This also we have calculated previously. That is this. Its mid-span moment is 20.05 kilonewton meter. Again L0 we will be using, here we will be using clause number 26.2.3.3 for positive moment reinforcement. Here it says that at a simply supported at the point of inflation, that is point of contraflexure, positive moment tension reinforcement shall be limited to a diameter such that LD calculated from above equation does not exceed m1 upon v plus L0, where L0 is the limited to the effective depth of a member or 12 times the diameter, whichever is greater. Here diameter what we are using is 12 into 12 comes out to be 144, where D effective is 205 mm. Whichever is greater is your L0. Therefore L0 will be 205 mm. Again development length as given in clause number 26.2.1, LD will be equals to 5 times sigma s upon 4 times tau BD, where tau BD can be calculated from 26.2.1.1. For M20, tau BD will be equals to 1.2, where for deformed bar we are supposed to increase this 1.2 by 60%. This clause is given in page number 73. Here tau BD will be equals to 1.6 times 1.2. We have increased 1.2 by 60%. This will be equals to 1.92. This will be the designed bond stress. Therefore LD will be equals to 5 into 0.87 sigma s. Sigma is the stress in a bar at a section considered at the design load. Sigma s will be equals to 0.87 of Fy, that is 415. Substituting this value in this equation, you will get LD is equals to 47.5. Therefore, as per clause number 26.2.3.3 C, you will get M1 upon V plus L0 should be greater or equals to LD. This comes out to be 5, that is equals should be smaller or equals to 12.8 mm. Since the diameter of main tensile reinforcement, since the maximum diameter of main tensile reinforcement is 12 mm, which is smaller than 12.8 mm, hence we are safe as far as diameter is concerned. These bars must be extended up to a point L0 beyond the point of contraflexure, that is L0 should be equals to 0.15 into 2700, that is the clear distance between the counterfort plus effective depth of stem at base. This comes out to be 610 mm. We have rounded it to 700 mm. Hence we can say that this reinforcement, that is from the face of our counterfort, this should be minimum 0.7 meter or 700 mm. We will see the detailing at the end of our lecture. Now we are supposed to connect the stem with the counterfore. We can say that counterfore is in direct tension. Here stem is connected to counterfore by two-legged horizontal stirrups to carry an entire shear. Let's consider this as an stem slab and this as an counterfore, which are located at an interval of 3 meters center to center. Here stem slab has a tendency to move outward and counterfore is supposed to pull this stem slab. This can be done by providing a U-GPR which passes from stem slabs and are continued in the counterfore. This is like an U-GPR. We are supposed to provide this U-GPR which passes through the stem slab and which are embedded in counterfore. In other sense, we are supposed to staple this stem slab to the counterfore. We are supposed to provide a U-GPR which are having a two leg 1 and leg 2. This leg is towards one face and this leg will be towards another face of an counterfore. Let's see this in our calculation. First of all, the horizontal pressure at any depth y from top, we are supposed to measure y from top will be equals to Ka gamma. Instead of h, we are supposed to write here y is Ka gamma y kilonewton per meter square. This will be equals to Ka is 1/3, gamma is 16.2 into y, comes out to be 5.4 into y kilonewton per meter square. This is the pressure intensity at the y distance from top. Therefore, shear at depth y, we are having 2.7 meter as a clear distance between the counterfore. Therefore, 5.4 into 2.7 will give a total shear at a depth of y. This comes out to be 14.58 into y kilonewton per meter. It's the height of stem. This meter is the height of stem. Factored will be this value into 1.5. Since our reinforcement are in direct tension, we are providing a U-GPR to our counterfore. We are providing a U-GPR to our counterfore. This U-GPR will be in direct tension. Therefore, our formula for direct tension in reinforcement is 0.87 Fy into AST. Therefore, AST required will be shear force divided by stress into stress factor. Fy is the 415 is the stress, yield stress of our mild steel, and this is the stress factor. This gives the area of steel required. This comes out to be 60.57 into y mm square. Now we will calculate the steel required at a distance y is equals to 6.6 meter from top, that is at stem base. We can get AST by substituting the value of y as 6.6 meter in our above equation. Therefore, AST will be equals to 399.76 mm square. As discussed earlier, we are having a U-GPR, means we are having a two-leg stirrups. The total steel requirement is 399.76 mm square. Therefore, AST for one leg stirrups will be equals to 399.76 divided by 2 will be equals to 199.88 mm square. Again referring table number 96, page number 230. We can derive that by providing 8 tall two-legged horizontal stirrups at a center to center distance of 250 mm will satisfy our requirement. These stirrups are shown by a black color line here. This is our stem slab, this is our counterfore, and this is our U-GPR. we are having two legs, leg number 1, leg number 2. This 8 toe 2 leg about 250 mm center to center is used to connect a counterfold to stem slab. Here this U-shaped chip here will also serve the purpose of shear reinforcement in counterfold that we will calculate later on. In the same line, let's calculate the requirement of this U chip here at a height y is equals to 3.3 meter from top. That is the mid height of our stem slab. AST required will be 199, almost 200 mm square. This requirement is for 2 leg stirrups. Therefore, AST for 1 leg stirrups will be equals to almost 100 mm square. Again, referring table number 96, page number 230, we can say that by providing 6 toe about 250 mm center to center as 2 leg horizontal stirrups will satisfy our requirement. Hence, for height 0 meter to 3.3 meter from top, we can provide 6 mm dia 2 leg stirrups about 250 mm center to center as an horizontal stirrups to connect stem slab to the counterfold. This is the reinforcement detailing of stem slab at a height 6.6 meter from top. Here this red color line is the main tensile reinforcement. This blue color line is the distribution reinforcement. This green color line represents the shrinkage or temperature reinforcement, and this black color line represents the connecting U stirrups to connect stem slab to the counterfold. This concludes our lecture. Thank you.